bats and black cats. It's time for a bedtime story. Settle in and get comfy, and I'll tell you the story of Jack Scarecrow. In the heart of Shadowood Cemetery, nestled in a quiet corner, there stood a peculiar and somewhat timid figure known as Jack Scarecrow. Jack was unlike any ordinary scarecrow. He was a living embodiment of Halloween spirit, brought to life by ancient mystical forces. For generations, Jack's presence had been a comforting and enchanting part of the cemetery's allure. However, his origins were shrouded in mystery, known only to a select few. When the veil between the living and the supernatural was at its thinnest, a guardian was needed to protect the cemetery's cherished pumpkin patch from a mischievous murder of crows. These cunning birds, led by a particularly devious crow named Corvus, had developed a taste for the enchanted pumpkins. They descended upon the patch with voracious appetites, pecking and clawing at the pumpkins, threatening to devour the very heart of Shadowood's magic. In those days, the pumpkin patch had a devoted caretaker named Edna. She was an old crone who served another mysterious force within the cemetery. Her powers were not all-encompassing, but were bound to the will of a force that had yet to reveal itself. For years, she had tended to the pumpkins and ensured that their magic remained potent. But Corvus, ever cunning and relentless, became too much for Edna to handle on her own. His insatiable hunger for the enchanted pumpkins had reached a fever pitch, and he seemed determined to feast upon the very essence of Shadowood Cemetery. In response to this dire situation, Edna turned to her knowledge of ancient spells and incantations. Under the pale light of the moon, on an eerie October night, she created a guardian to watch over the pumpkin patch and thwart Corvus's relentless advances. With a stroke of her weathered hand, she summoned a sentient pumpkin, imbued with the very essence of the patch itself. Jack Scarecrow, as he would come to be known, was born with a spark of the mystical energy that flowed through the pumpkin patch. He was imbued with the sole purpose of guarding the pumpkins and ensuring their protection from the crows. Jack's personality was characterized by a unique blend of Halloween whimsy and a deep-seated fear of the dark. Unlike other guardians of the cemetery, he was not fearless. In fact, he was quite the opposite. He harbored an intense fear of the shadows within the cemetery, the same shadows he could manipulate with his pumpkin magic. Jack believed that lurking within those shadows were mysterious and potentially menacing creatures, even though he'd never encountered any. Despite his fear, Jack's presence was cherished by the visitors to the cemetery. They found his vulnerability endearing and enjoyed sharing stories with him during the month of October, when the cemetery came to life. As Halloween night approached, Jack's fear of the dark reached its peak, and he became a beacon of Halloween spirit, guiding visitors safely through the cemetery's shadowy realms with his illuminated pumpkin head, all while keeping a cautious eye on the lurking shadows he feared. Edna, the old crone, and her creation, Jack Scarecrow, played vital roles in preserving the magic of Shadowood Cemetery. Their story remained veiled in the depths of history, waiting to be discovered by those who dared to uncover the secrets of the cemetery. Their tales are one of hundreds, locked away at Shadowood. When the cemetery gates open to mortals on Halloween night, be sure to make time and see if you can find Jack Scarecrow, Edna, Corvus, Joe Bones, and all the other residents of Shadowood Cemetery. And so ends our bedtime story. Until next time, bats and black cats, stay scary.